What's going on in Lake Tutira? Well, Hawke's Bay Regional Council water quality scientist Dr. Andy Hicks says it's an algal bloom and Hirini shouldn't drink any more of it because it can be toxic.
Actually toxic, so we treat it as toxic, but we haven't actually found out any evidence of it producing toxins. But we need to be cautious and conservative, so we assume that it's toxic.
Right, so you certainly don't drink the water. Can you swim in it? No.
No, there's a permanent advisory against swimming in the lake.
Permanent?
Until conditions improve.
And when might that be?
That's a $1 million question. So there's a lot of planning and discussions going on at the moment to try and put together a good course of action that will improve conditions in the lake, so that hopefully in the not too distant future we might be able to lift that advisory against swimming.
Right, Andy, no one is blaming you for this, absolutely, but I am staggered that you can't swim in Lake Tutira, full stop. I had no idea that there was a permanent advisory against it. And in the context of the conversations we're having about water standards in New Zealand, is this good enough?
We're certainly not happy with the situation, and we're doing a lot to try to fix it and come up with a plan of attack that will actually fix it. I think it's important to realise that these sorts of issues don't just pop up overnight.
No, they don't.
And they also take a long time to fix, and
right.
we're on that course.
And how do you fix it? How do you get this bacteria out of the water?
Yeah, so there's options in front of us, and that's a discussion that needs to be had with the broader community, Mangahuru Tangatu, the sort of the custodians of the lake, the local tangata whenua. They're obviously key in trying to work out what we should be doing. So there's a lot of discussions with a lot of people that need to take place before we start, running around doing things and spending a lot of money. We want to make sure that anything that's done is done in a strategic and sensible fashion, rather than a sort of knee-jerk reaction that might not actually get us to where we want to go. Yeah,
the elephant in the room here, and I'm not sure that you are going to necessarily want to speak to this, is that the bloom comes from nutrient pollution, right? An overabundance of essential plant nutrients, nitrogen and phosphorus. In other words, the more we use fertiliser and the more cows shit basically in the vicinity of this water, the more likely we are to get this bloom, aren't we?
And I don't think anyone's hiding from that fact. So the algal blooms are certainly at least partly driven by the extra nutrients that are entering that system and that have entered that system for the last few decades. So we first started seeing blooms, or there's records of blooms back from the 70s, and there was aerial top dressing in that catchment back during the 50s, and so we've had the issue for decades, and I guess the nutrients are sourced from way back then.
Andy Hicks, so the suspect aerial top dressing from decades ago.